Hello everyone. Hope you're all doing good. So today we are going to cover best time to buy and sell stock with transaction fee. And we have six problems in the same category, buy and sell stock. And this is very similar to something which is buy and sell stock with n number of or k number of transactions. But additionally, they have included a transaction fee. So let's understand this problem statement. That is, here the input given is a integer array prices and a transaction fee, and we have to return the maximum profit we can achieve after completing as many transactions as we like. And the condition given here is we may need to pay the transaction fee for each transaction. So let's understand this problem statement with an example. Here is a given integer array prices which represent the price of a stock at each day and the transaction fee. And we have to buy and sell stocks at the right time to get maximum profit. So let's say we are buying the stock at the day one. So the buying price is going to be 1, and we ignore the day 2, 3, and at the fourth day, since the selling price is more, we are going to sell that on our fourth day. If we are selling, so then the buying price minus selling price is going to be our profit. So here the profit is going to be 7, and we have to pay a transaction fee for each transaction, that is for one buying and selling complete transaction. So we have to pay minus 2, so the overall profit is 5 here. So again we are buying our stock at the day 5, which is going to be 4, and we have to sell, or we are selling that stock on the last day, and the price is 9, so overall profit is going to be 5, and we have to pay a transaction fees which is minus 2, and we are going to get 3. So overall profit we got is 8, which is the highest profit we can get from this array, and we are returning that. So how are we going to approach this? So at any day of your transaction, you will be provided with three options. That is, you can either buy a stock or sell a stock or rest and do nothing. So I'm going to have two variables or two states, I would say, having a stock and not having a stock. And having a stock represents the maximum profit at end of the day by having stock in our hand, and not having a stock represents the maximum profit at end of the day but by not having any stock or by selling all the stock we had. So now the problem statement clearly states that we cannot engage in multiple transactions simultaneously. That is, if we are going to sell a stock, we should have only one stock at a hand. We cannot buy more than one stock before selling it. So now at end of any day in a transaction, we can either be in this state, that is having a stock in our hand, or not having a stock in our hand. And these table or the variable represent the amount we are having in our hand at end of the day being in that state. So now let's start filling these values. By the end, we'll be arriving at our maximum profit, and we're gonna see how. So first, if we are going to have a stock at end of the day, which means we have bought the stock from the day. We cannot sell the stock on a day one because we would have not bought that before. Imagine we are having some amount in our hand and we are spending buying that stock on the day, which means we are spending that amount. So from our amount, what we have in our hand, minus 1 will be the amount we are having right now. The same way, we cannot sell a stock on day 1, so we spent 0 amount. So now moving on to our day 2, that is the price of that stock is 3 in that day. So we are going to check whether we rest for that day, that is we are not going to buy a stock, because if we are going to have a stock, which means we are going to buy a stock or we are just going to hold the stock we already bought. So in this case, we either have or rest in the same state, or we are going to buy a new stock. So if we are buying a new stock, we should have not have had any stock before. In that case, this is the amount we have in our hand. So if we are buying that stock, we have to minus that amount from what we have. So this is the amount we had. So from that, we are going to minus that amount. So here the price of the stock today is 3. So our job is to maximize the profit by end of the day. So out of -1 and -3, the maximum value is going to be -1. The same way, if we are not having a stock, which means we are going to sell already bought stock. So whether staying in the same state will give us the maximum profit or selling the stock will give us maximum profit. So if we have to sell the stock, then we should be having a stock where we had -1 as the cash in our hand. So with that -1, we will get the price 3 as a profit if we are selling that. So we'll be adding that amount to our cash, and we have to pay the transaction fee, which is 2 here. So we are negotiating that from our balance. So in this case, it is either way going to be 0. So moving on to our next day, now the stock price is 2. We are going to check whether we are holding the same state or we are going to buy a stock. If we are going to buy a stock, the amount we had previously while selling the stock was 0, and from 0 we are going to spend 2 rupees or $2 to buy that stock. So -2, which is giving the maximum profit -1. So same way we are going to update whether we are going to be in the same state, or from that previous amount we are going to sell the stock. So if we are sell the stock, we'll be getting 2 extra, and we have to pay the transaction fee, and the total is going to be 0 again. Now we are moving on to our day 4, where the price of the stock is 8. Now we are going to stay in the same holding the stock, or we are going to buy the new stock. If we are going to buy the new stock, the amount after selling the stock was 0. From that 0 we are going to spend 8 more amount, and now the value becomes 0 minus 8, which is the higher value or higher profit -1. So now, not having the stock, either we are going to stay in the same state or sell the stock. If we are selling the stock, then after buying the stock, the amount we had was -1. So from this -1, we will get 8 more rupees. So -1 plus 8, and after selling, we'll be paying our transaction fee. So -2. So which will give us 5. So moving on to our day 5, the stock price is 4. Now we are checking whether we hold the stock as such or we are going to buy a new stock. If we are going to buy a new stock, the amount we had on the previous day after buying the stock was 5. So we are going to spend 4 rupees from that 5 and check whichever giving us maximum profit. So updating it to 1. So if we are not having the stock on that day, which means we are checking whether maintaining the same state as yesterday, that is we are either taking rest or we are going to sell the stock. If we are selling the stock, the amount we had while we bought the stock was -1. Along with that, after selling the stock, we got 4 rupees on this day. So plus 4 minus transaction fees 2, which will give us the maximum is 5. So moving on to our last day, we are checking whether we are maintaining the previous state or we are going to buy a new stock on this last day. If we are buying the stock, the amount we had in our previous day was 5 after selling the stock. So from that amount, we are going to take 9 more rupees and we are going to spend it. So from 5 minus 9, which is giving us more profit, either staying at the same state as yesterday or buying the stock on this day. So we are going to put 1 here, and finally we are going to sell the stock we have. Then only we can become not having the stock by end of the day. So now either we are maintaining the same state as day yesterday or we are going to sell the stock we had. So while buying the stock, the amount we had was 1. Along with that, I'm going to get 9 more rupees on selling the stock on this day, and I'm going to pay transaction fee -2, which give me 8, which is actually the profit after selling all the stock we bought on the last day of the transaction. So which is what we are going to return as our output. So this actually runs in big O of n time and big O of 1 space complexity. So let's see the code now. So as I said, I'm going to have 2 variables, having stock. If we are having stock on the first day, we'll be spending the amount on first day. So I'm initializing it to minus prices of 0. and not having stock, which is equal to 0 because we cannot sell any stock on the first day. So I'm iterating through my given array from index 1. And I'm updating both the variables every day. So having a stock on that day is equal to whichever gives the maximum profit, that is either staying on the same state as yesterday or buying a new stock. So if we are buying the new stock, then whatever amount we had on our hand after selling the stock, from that we are going to spend that day's price. Same way, if we are not gonna have the stock, then which is gonna give the maximum profit, either staying on the same state or selling the stock. So if we are selling the stock, then we are going to have the amount we had after buying the stock plus we'll get the price after selling the stock on that day. So after updating all that, we will be having the maximum profit after having sold all the stock we had on our hand. So that is going to be our output. So before starting the problem, let us check the basic conditions. That is, if the price is empty or or then return 0. And here the main thing we have to cover is the transaction fee. So we consider paying the transaction fee after selling the stock. So we include that while calculating the amount we have after selling the stock. So let's run now. So yes, let's submit. Yes, our solution is accepted. So if you like the video, hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Coders Camp. Thank you.